Hey y'all. Hi everyone. Ugh. Give me a second. Let me just um let me go live on Instagram. So comment and say hi in the comment box while I try to go live on Instagram. How's everyone doing? Okay, let's see. Hi everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm just gonna wait for some people to tune in. Hi everyone on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Put your comments in the box, say hi, let me know that you're tuned in and where you're tuning in from. I am in Orlando, Florida. So let me see. I think, my comment box is off. That's why I'm not seeing anything. Okay, guys. So let me introduce myself. My name is Ayesha Chidolue. I'm an immigration attorney in Orlando area, Florida. I represent clients all over the United States, so in all 50 states with their immigration matter. My number here is 407-995-6567. So if you have an immigration matter or a family immigration matter, definitely call me. If your uncles, your aunties, call them. Before we start, feel free to share this video. You can share it on your Facebook page so the other people can tune in to also learn and be able to ask their questions. As always, definitely drop your questions in the comment boxes. I will try to respond to as many of them as I can once I finish talking. So today I want to talk about conditional green cards and, how to remove the conditions on your green card and essentially what are they? So, a lot of times, when people get green cards, some people don't know if they got a permanent green card or a temporary green card. And so they end up filing the wrong application when it comes time for renewal or expiration or removal. So a conditional green card is something that is given to immigrants when at the time their green card was approved, they had been married for under 2 years. Hi, Tamika. Nice to see you as well. Good morning. Where are you tuning in from, Tamika? Guys, comment in the comment box. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Okay, so as I was saying, so you get what we call a conditional green card. And what does it mean to have a conditional green card? That basically means that you have a 2-year green card with a condition. The condition is that once the 2 years is about to expire, you have to remove the conditions on your green card. What are the conditions? The conditions are that you continue to maintain a good faith and bona fide marriage. Oh, wow. Hi, Taramati, watching from Guyana. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sometimes I do these videos and I don't know who's watching or if anybody's watching, but that's really cool that you're watching from Guyana. Thank you for tuning in. So as I was saying, in order to remove those conditions, what they basically want to see is that you have a legitimate and a bona fide marriage. So, I know a lot of times some people might not have a lot of things to show evidence of their good faith marriage or bona fide marriage when they are, just newlywed. But the standards are much higher when you're removing conditions because at that time, they expect that you're able to work because now you have a green card, you have a social security number. So they fully expect that you guys have more things to show that your marriage is real. And because at this point, your marriage most of the time will be, either 3 years old or 4 years old. Okay. So how do you remove the conditions? So the first thing is you do a joint removal, meaning you and your U.S. citizen or green card holder spouse apply for removal of condition together. So in addition to applying for removal of condition, you still have to show proof that you have actually continued to stay married, you have a good faith, legitimate marriage, you have a bona fide marriage, and things of that nature. Okay. The second option is, I should say, let me go back. Sometimes, marriages don't work. So when immigration looks at this, they understand that marriages don't work all the time. But the thing is, if marriages don't work all the time, and you get a divorce or your husband passes away, or your spouse has been extremely cruel, they still want to see proof that you have a legitimate marriage. So the other ways to remove conditions if your marriage don't work is through a waiver. What is a simple way to say a waiver? A waiver is basically asking to waive the requirement, right, of having your spouse apply with you because one of those conditions have happened. The number one, we filed for divorce. Okay. Second option, your spouse has been extremely cruel or abusive to you. Those on Facebook, can you guys hear me? It seems like my Wi-Fi keeps going in and out. Can somebody comment and just let me know if you guys can either hear me or see me? Number three, your spouse has passed away. Died. The number four is extreme hardship, which is really, really difficult to satisfy. Okay. So, Charmaine, okay, you can hear me. Great. Awesome. Instagram can hear me as well. Yeah, so those are the three other, so I'm removing extreme hardship just because it's really, really hard. Hi, Swanky, all the way from Brooklyn. That's actually the first place I moved to when I moved back to America. For those of you who don't know much about me, I actually was born in America and I grew up in Nigeria. And then I came back here after high school and, I moved to Brooklyn with my sister, who was 17 and 19. And it was great, went to college there in New York. Anywho. Definitely, if you're just tuning in, put your comment in the comment box. I'm going to answer once I finish doing all my little educational spiel. Hi, Carlos. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, everything I'm giving you guys is for informational and educational purposes only. This is not legal advice. I'm just educating you guys on the way U.S. immigration law works. So as I was saying, so you have those different ways. So let's go through each of them. So if you file for divorce, or if you're filing for divorce, one suggestion is that you have your divorce decree, or your divorce will be happening at least within the next, maybe 87 days when you're submitting your conditional removal application, just because they can't grant it or they cannot approve it without the actual divorce decree. But remember what I said, if we're doing a waiver based on divorce, you still want to show that you had a bona fide and a legitimate marriage. That's number one. Number two, if your spouse is extremely cruel to you and abusive to you, having a very strong and personal statement, I'm using a personal statement, we call it declaration, explaining all the things that person did to you that caused you emotional trauma, psychological trauma, physical trauma, whatever it is that you experience is very needed. If you're able to get a police report because you reported to the cops, or something like that, get it. Is it a requirement? Not necessarily, but it's helpful. Any credible evidence is helpful. If you've suffered emotionally or psychologically, get a psychological evaluation so that they can at least say, go over it and analyze what you've experienced. Again, apart from that, it's still critical for you to show you had a bona fide marriage. So you want to still try to gather every shred of evidence. And, for those of you who may be new here, if you want to know about what kinds of evidence or whatever it is, last week Wednesday, I actually did a very, very comprehensive list of evidence and types of evidence that are helpful, in immigration. So you can go watch that one, to get some ideas, to help you. And so, of course, the third one is, if unfortunately your spouse passes away, if your spouse passes away, same thing. The divorce, not the divorce, the death certificate is, of course, crucial. But again, you still want to show that your marriage was legitimate. I cannot stress this enough, because people think, oh, I get a green card, and so now the battle is over. So guys, and I'm telling you this, hear me and hear me good. The battle is not over until you get your 10-year green card, right? And even still at that, until you get your citizenship. So you want to make sure that if you get your green card and it is a temporary green card, that you continue to document your marriage so that when it's time to remove, you and your spouse have enough to remove. And if you and your spouse just so happen not to be able to file it yourselves, that you have enough evidence to show that you still had a legitimate marriage, you still married in good faith, your marriage was still bona fide. It's just that it didn't work, or it's just that your spouse died, or it's just that your spouse was abusive, okay? So that's the area I wanted to cover. I'm gonna take questions. Actually, one other thing. If they do approve you for conditional removal based on abuse, you will become eligible for citizenship after 3 years. You don't have to wait 5 years if, let's say, you and your spouse are divorced. Okay, so let me take some questions. Somebody says, I have a question. When you're married to a citizen man, are you accidentally a citizen? No. If that was the case, then everybody will be citizens. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When you're married to a U.S. citizen, the only way for you to become a citizen is to first get your green card, and you have to go through quite an application process and vetting, by USCIS to make sure that you're eligible, and that your marriage is legitimate. When you get your green card, if you're still married, after 3 years, you can apply for your citizenship. Okay, so that's how you get your citizenship if you're married to a U.S. citizen. The only people that derive citizenship from somebody else who's a citizen is children. Children under a certain age, they can derive citizenship, based on their parents' citizenship. Okay, so let's see. Let me see what other question. So Ona Lane says, I'm ready to hire you. Yay. So call our office, 407-995-6567. We'll definitely love to help you. Somebody, Kiana says, I'm new here. Hi, Kiara. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have a question. After you get valid prima facie letter, can you go ahead and file adjustment of status? Well, so it depends, what is the reason why you didn't file in the first place? Are you in removal? So strategy is different depending on what's going on with your own particular immigration matter. So I will definitely suggest a consultation with me. My number is 407-995-6567. But just as an aside, if you're not in removal proceedings and you're married to a U.S. citizen, and you've not been ordered deported, you can actually file it concurrently, meaning when you file your VAW application, you can file your adjustment of status all at the same time, make it easier for yourself. Okay, so let's see what else I've got here. Okay, Swanky says, I'm in the process of having my conditions removed and my case was transferred. I also submitted an N-400. Can you advise on that? Well, I can't give you legal advice here because, as I said, this is for educational and informational purposes only. But if you are, you just gotta wait. Sometimes when you do an N-400, it helps things to speed up quickly, and sometimes they can interview you at the same time for both the removal of conditions and for your U.S. citizenship. Sometimes transfers happen because maybe another processing center is super busy and they're just trying to move the case forward. So there could be very different reasons why your case could be transferred. But hopefully the fact that you've done your N-400 will at least speed up an interview process and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Let me see what else. So someone says, if you file on abuse and get approved for 10-year green card, how soon can you file for citizenship? You can file for citizenship 3 years from the date that you originally got your green card. So you'll be counting from the date of your temporary green card. So let's say you got your temporary green card in January 2019. So that's 2021, 22. So 2022 January is when you can apply for citizenship. So if let's say they make they remove your conditions after that, you can apply right away. If they've not yet removed your conditions before that, once that time hits, you can apply. If your case is still pending, you know, and you've reached the 3-year mark, you can apply, just like the previous question I answered, you can apply for citizenship. You know, when people have conditional removals, and their case is still pending and the 3-year mark has hit and they want to know about filing citizenship, you know, it's really individual based, where I try to advise people on whether or not they should file for citizenship or not. But, you know, if you have an airtight case, you have every single bit of evidence, you know, for a fact, there's absolutely no way they can, you know, not approve you, then by all means, you know, file for citizenship. Jazier says, how can I see the previous video you just mentioned? If you go, when I get offline or when I get off live, you can go to our Facebook page. On our Facebook page, you can just scroll to video, because God knows I have a lot of videos. I think I post videos every day, but it's last week, Wednesday. I think I was wearing like a something blue. So look for a video with me wearing something blue. The title is, I don't remember the title, but it says something about evidence, what evidence you need to prove your marriage is real. So just scroll through the video and you'll find it, okay? Let me take some questions on Instagram. So Ariza says, dear attorney, thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting immigrant community no matter what. I kindly request when do you recommend sending an L1B application due to COVID-19 situation? I'm not really sure I understand your question, but call me and schedule consultation 47995-6567. Armando is asking, when do you start counting the time? I just answered that, so hopefully you heard my answer to here. So this person says, after receiving my receipt notice, what would be my next step in the application? What receipt notice did you receive? You know, what did you file? You know, because the steps are different depending on what you file. But a lot of times, most applications, you will get your biometrics request, you know, or an RFE, because these days biometrics are a bit delayed. Well, an RFE if you didn't submit enough evidence. Hi, Mohammed on Instagram. Nice to have you here. So let's see. This person says, good morning, beautiful. Thank you. Can I go ahead and file for my children's paperwork before I get my green card? You can't, because you're not a green card holder. But your spouse can, if you and your spouse were married before your children turned 18. If your children were over 18 when you got married, your children will not be eligible, okay? And then somebody else asked, how long does it take after you do your biometrics to become a citizen? It depends. It really depends. So I'm assuming you're talking about if you apply for a naturalization application. If you apply for a naturalization application, honestly, average time, it could take anywhere from 7 to 12 months. I know that I have one. Let me do the dates. You know, I would say that on average right now, we're seeing some of ours, and it also depends on the state and how busy your field office is. We're seeing somewhere around 8 months, 9 months for them to schedule your interview from the time of your application. There's no time basically based on, you know, when you go for biometrics versus when you do your interview or whatever it is. Is really just an average time from when you put in your application to when you qualify. And then after your interview, if you pass your interview, they will schedule you for an oath ceremony. Before, there used to be some times where some field offices will actually do your oath ceremony there, but because of COVID, you know, and the crowd, they're changing it. And speaking of citizenship, I have something fun tonight, and I want you guys to tune in. So I'm actually going to be streaming live with another lawyer at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. We're going to be doing, Are You Smarter Than a Naturalized Citizen? What does that mean? I'm going to be on the hot seat. I'm going to be answering questions that my clients answer with the immigration officers. So we're going to be, you know, doing whoever gets the first 10 questions correctly, for a citizenship exam. So it's going to be fun. So tune in, while I make a fool of myself. Hopefully I'll remember everything, that I try to tell my clients to remember. But if you have time, please tune in. It'll be fun. Hi, Kevin from Instagram. You're new here. Thanks for tuning in. My question is, after you become a citizen and get a divorce, how soon after can you be remarried again? You can marry whenever you want to marry. Most people, when they get divorced, the first thing in their mind is not necessarily to remarry right away, but there's no rule about when you can get married. You can get married whenever you want to get married, okay? So let's see what else. Hi, Macedonas. Thank you for tuning in. Anybody else have any other questions before I jump off? Let me see. Let me make sure I answered everybody's question. Okay, let's see. I think I got all how do I see previous videos? Let's see. Okay, I think I got all the questions answered. So as always, thank you guys for tuning in for my live. If you can tune in tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be going head to head with another lawyer, and we're going to be basically answering the citizenship test questions to see who's going to get it first. Okay. And then let me just answer this last question. Hi, Nana Yame. How can I file for permanent residency? The answer is it depends. It depends on what you qualify for. So, call my office, 407-995-6567, and then you can let us know what is qualifying you for the green card, and then we can let you know how to prepare your application. Okay, guys, when I'm about to jump off, you guys send me all those questions. Okay, let me just answer a few more. If you file married, filing separate, does that affect your conditional removal? Not necessarily. It depends on why. What's the reason why you guys are filing separately? If that's what the case is, you just want to make sure that you have other things to show that you have a bona fide marriage. Okay. Somebody says, how long after having a green card can I get citizenship? So the answer really depends. It depends on what category your green card is. For most people, it's 5 years. For people who are still married, it's 3 years. For people who had conditional green cards and removed the condition based on abuse, it's 3 years. For people who received their green card through vow, it's 3 years. So, as you can see, it just depends on what your how you got your green card. Okay, so somebody on Instagram says, if you're not a green card holder, how can you get a work permit? Well, green card holders don't need work permits, first of all, because the green card allows them to work. You can get a work permit based on something qualifying you to get a work permit. So are you filing based on your a family-based petition, an employment-based petition, or a investment-based petition? So that's how you can get a work permit. So Nathan, let me answer that. Nathan says, I'm married. My wife is a green card holder. How long do you think the processing time will take? So Nathan, are you in America? Or are you outside the country? Because that's going to depend. Because if you're in America and your wife is a green card holder, the odds are that, and you're here in odds are that you probably will not be in a period of authorized stay when that I-130 is done, and you're going to have to go back to your home country to finish the process. So the answer really depends on where you live. Macedonas, you said you don't know what time in Washington. Okay, so my show is at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to say Washington. Don't quote me on this. I think you're Pacific Standard Time, so it might be 6 p.m. your time. But you can just do Google. You can just Google, Eastern time zone to your time zone to see what time it is. And then Cepha says, what if you and your wife live in the same place? Are you saying you don't live in the same place, or are you saying you do live in the same place? Is that the question you're asking me? If you can ask that question properly. Okay. So what is a vocation visa? for Nashia, do you mean like you have an H-2B? Because if you have an H-2B, H-2B, it allows you to work until it's expired. Do you have a J-1? Those ones already come with work, certain work requirements, but as I mentioned, the requirements are what I mentioned earlier. Okay, guys, I do have to jump off now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please, if you can, tune in tonight. Otherwise, I'll see you guys. Well, I might not see you guys next week. I got to check my schedule, but otherwise, have a great Wednesday, guys. Bye.